Okay then, good morning and thank you very much for joining us. I am Yori Folani. Let's go a bit technical today, by which I mean information technology. It rules every aspect of our life. Well, even if it doesn't, even if some people quarrel with the word rule, it certainly affects. You can't get by without it. And even if you are not a direct participant in the sense that you are a knowing one, it still is affecting you. Hopefully positively. Well, our guest this morning, we've been together before, Stephen Oniya. I'm not going to call it Oniya. That will take you to another area. Stephen Oniya, Oniya maybe, CEO of Soft City Group. A fine morning to you. We were together earlier in, I think it was about last month, you know, something like that. So welcome back. Stephen is CEO of City Group. And if you can think of software, and you begin to understand a bit where the name came from. So last time we were here, we were talking about 5G actually. And I guess we're going to stay on 5G because it's important. And I guess everybody understands about the Industrial Revolution and the change it made to our lives around the world. Suddenly, things that used to be done by hand can now be done by machines. You can get well, in most areas, a higher quality and a more consistent quality, and it really revolutionized it. Then you go on to steam engines and all of that. But let me ask you, I can understand it being an industrial revolution of its own, but why are you calling it, or why is it referred to as the fourth industrial revolution? The fourth.
Thank you very much. And I'm also happy to be back here.
We're glad to have you.
Yeah. So the numbering, that's when you use the word fourth for the Industrial Revolution, is not something that is a concept made up by myself or by any professional anywhere. The world has gone through several revolutions. I mean, industrially.
Yes.
Back from the First World War, Second World War, we had the first industrial revolution, where we had the advent of the steam engine and the like, of where water became a commodity, and they could build water-based engines that could cause major transportation revolution, industrial revolution.
The era of the locomotive.
Locomotive. You know, now we moved from that era to the information era, which is the second revolution. It's the second industrial revolution. Now, this revolution that's happening industrially is not a Nigerian thing. It's a global revolution. The third one was the digitization, where we had the third industrial revolution. That's, I'm sure you know now, phones everywhere, smartphones everywhere. Everything is digitized. Basically, now, the fourth one is a revolution that follows where we are now. If you look at it backwards, you know, there was a time we didn't have smartphones.
That's right.
There was a time we did not even have internet. Internet is pretty less than how many years now. There was a time where information was not even a serious commodity that would shape economic transactions.
Exactly.
Now, so we are now moving to an era where, yes, don't get me wrong, we in Nigeria, we're still on the third revolution phase. Because the fourth industrial revolution, which is already being materialized, is materializing overseas. If you go to Japan, everything is automated. The fourth industrial revolution is driven by about 4 key components. Number one is the computational intelligence, which is people call AI, but computational is a broader term. Where going
AI as in artificial intelligence.
Artificial intelligence, exactly. We have the big data systems, data, which is the currency of the future. We have the autonomous systems, where systems can function without manual intervention, where you can, let me give you a big case scenario. You can go into your house and your house will diagnose you, a house you live. Your house, you will go in, your house will be telling you your temperature, your heart rate, it will be telling you your predisposing factors. Your house will give you everything because there are sensors mounted. And these things, they are not words alone. They are operational now. They are live.
Because I was going to say that sci-fi area you got to. It's not really sci-fi in the sense that a few individuals, people like the Bezos of this world, like the Bill Gates, they've had those intelligent houses.
Absolutely.
Because
smart houses,
yes,
beautiful, intelligent houses.
Yes,
beautiful.
Smart, intelligent, smart houses, intelligent. They've had where they can interact, or the house interacts with them.
Exactly. Exactly.
So all of this is coming back to technology and in this fourth revolution. Now, what you seem to be saying, correct me if I'm wrong, is that far from those Olympian heights that were accessible only to the Bezos and the Gates of this world, it's becoming, like all these advancements, more commonplace as we are going along. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, that's the very truth. The concept of autonomous systems and computational intelligence is being applied as a commodity. It's now being commercialized.
I want to break down what you just said, autonomous systems.
Yeah.
What came to my mind as you said that with computerdom, and you spoke about artificial intelligence earlier, I think of it as systems, machines, whatever, being able to think for themselves.
Absolutely, yes.
I mean, because I saw a video the other day on YouTube, somebody ordering a Uber car, and their car arrived driverless. Driverless. And it wasn't juju, it wasn't magic. And it seems like way in the future to us, but the future is here.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, that's exactly what we're talking about. Now, there's this concept, this theoretical concept of the fourth industrial Nigeria. Now, Nigeria itself, you would expect that because the fourth industrial revolution itself is about autonomous systems, that we probably will see self-driving cars in Nigeria in the next few years, or we're going to see. Don't deceive ourselves.
Really?
We shouldn't deceive ourselves, because we don't even have a road network that has specifications.
Thank you. It's not going to happen.
So
are there sensors in the roads over there that are able to interact with the car?
Exactly. But the benefit we are going to get from the fourth industrial Nigeria, if I can use that concept now, you understand what I mean now, is the platformization and labor force engineering.
There's so many big grammars in this IT thing.
I'll try to say it in layman's terms.
Platformization. We will break it down because it's important, because this is what everybody needs to know. Even if, and I think I should just diverge a bit, even if in terms of takeoff, I would imagine that in Nigeria we're still on the ground, and we're waiting for the thrust with which to be able to take off. That's my guess. Is that so?
I won't say we are just trying to take off. Okay. We have evolved to an extent where we can tap into the current trend of this revolution. Now, because absolutely, we now have the 5G infrastructure, which is a base work. Connectivity is also one of the key elements of being able to be a part of the fourth industrial revolution. That was why when some people were criticizing 5G, I said, we need it now, not tomorrow. We need to start adopting it now, because those are key elements that can guarantee a country that is built to last and built to survive. Our chance of survival and being able to be a part of this global dynamics of how the economy is shaping itself. I'm sure you heard that our telcos now say they want to increase our tariff by 35–40%. Now, all these economic dynamics, the power of demand and supply, are shaped by whatever kind of industrial systems we have in place.
Okay.
Now, the fact that we now have a framework for 5G already puts us in the right path. Okay,
I like when you said framework, because when you said that it's already here,
I
was a bit concerned.
It's a framework.
First of all, I'm not even sure that my phone is 5G capable. So that's another aspect to the conversation. The devices that will be able to key in to the technology of the future that is really the technology of now. But in any case, we don't have a choice, do we? What I mean by that is that, look, when we came into GSM, for this, whether you want to call it 1G or whatever, when you came into GSM, it had existed elsewhere
Yeah.
before we keyed into it. And we didn't have to go back to the very beginning. We just took it from where it was. That's the sense in which I meant that we probably don't have a choice about the matter. We can't be left behind. And I imagine that when Nigeria, the platform, I mean, the infrastructure that you spoke about, Nigeria will be cutting into it at the very cutting edge, where it's at now. Surely nobody is going to bring technology of 10 years ago to us. It has to be technology of today. Or does it work in that way?
Well, I think, let me first recap what I think you're trying to say is the point where you adopt technology does not necessarily mean you need to start from scratch. You can join the current trend and maximize the opportunities.
Yes.
Is that what you mean?
Yes,
now,
because in relation to the explanation you're making, we can't even go and buy old technology because it's not there anymore.
Exactly.
It's going to be the
current
technology of now.
Yes. Now, the way technology works, I have two key philosophies with technology, and this is based on several years of experience. One, technology is not a medal. You don't win a race with technology. It's a tool in the hands of people that solves problems. It's a tool.
Okay.
Now, if you adopt technology at any phase of its evolution, at any phase, it's your ability to use that tool that determines whether you see results. Now, I don't want us to be of the opinion that because, yes, we are gradually joining at this phase and we're getting the current technology, it doesn't necessarily mean automatically that it will solve our problems or that we are automatically going to get results or that Nigeria's social contract, the social contract of the governance to the people of Nigeria will be improved upon. It doesn't even mean our digital quality of life will improve. It does not necessarily mean that, because adoption is one, application is two. When we adopt these technologies, are we sure we have the right socio-economic programs that we can apply this technology to that can give us results? That can make us proud of ourselves as citizens of Nigeria? Do we have such socio-economic programs in place? Now, the reason why I first told you that technology is not a medal, you know, our senior colleagues, the ministers, the Director General, I mean NCC, all of them, they've been marketing their achievement to us so far, such that they give us 5G. They make so much money when they adopted 5G, as if they solved the problem in Nigeria. Any small thing they adopt or implement or execute in technology, they market it on TV.
Well, it's a Nigerian thing.
That's what,
when a governor builds a bridge, is not going to let everybody know about it?
Exactly.
Okay.
Now, this technology, they are all excited for, that they are adopting. What we want to hear, we've been in this industry from the day of GPRS. I've been in this industry, and I've seen all this evolution come over and over, 2G, 3G, 4G, we've been here. What socio-economic program do you have that is working pari passu with your adoption? That this technology as a tool will be used to solve, to improve the quality of life of Nigerians.
Okay.
Now, this is what we are more interested in, because it's your duty to provide us the infrastructure as a government. It's your duty to put the right frameworks in place. But it's also your duty to guarantee results, because don't tell us tomorrow that your result is that I brought 5G. If you bring 5G and does not solve our problem, you've brought nothing. We want to know, in a fourth industrial revolution, which is ongoing globally, and if we can come back to that concept of where we are now, like a fourth industrial Nigeria, what specifically would be the benefit to the common man? We don't want a situation where technology is for those at the peak of the pyramid of needs, where people who are not trying to get things to meet up with their deficiency, but there are people that are just getting things to grow what they already have. That's why they say rich gets richer. Now, if you tell us that you've adopted 5G, if you tell us in Nigeria that you've put the digital economic policies in place, I'm telling you what the government have done,
yes.
which I would appreciate. I will applaud their passion.
There's every reason to believe them.
You understand? I will applaud their passion for trying. But what we want to know is, what is the roadmap of connecting these technologies you are adopting to improve the standard of living of the common man? If that is not there, that's what they say. There's what they call GIGO in technology: garbage in, garbage out. If you like, bring 5G. If you like, bring anything you want to bring. If those things does not connect to the socio-economic programs and the quality of life and standard of life of a typical Nigerian, it solves no problem. It's just another garbage that you brought in that will go out.
That is why I imagined NCC exists, because they are that is the ministry that's supervising much of this, and they would be very remiss, and I want to stick my neck out and say they wouldn't be that way if they weren't able to also enable the benefits coming from this technology, the improved benefits. Today, even the ordinary person who doesn't really think about the technology anymore, but you can't have a bank account now and not have, the internet, IT is definitely going to help you. With IT now, as you know, you talk to a machine, you get the money you need. If you have your internet, you go online, you can actually buy things and get them delivered to you. Now, these might be very, very obvious and perhaps even the smallest in terms of the kind of benefits that could come, because I imagine there might be more deep infrastructural, benefits of it. But that way in which it is already being used by anybody who might not even be literate, but it is coming to them. That's part of what you are talking about, isn't it? How will it improve the lives of the people as opposed to just dumping the infrastructure and say, we can chalk that one up, we got it. Surely they must be working, as you said, side by side with potentials. And do you know what those are? Because you can share those with us, because I feel very sure that NCC will have a very good idea.
Yes, yeah. I'm going to give you examples. We've had, I think he's Dr. Dambazao. I think he's now a professor, or I can't remember. That's the NCC person. Is like, I think it's the DG. I think it's the DG or so.
Okay, the Nigerian Communication Commission.
Yeah, he's given his position on the benefits of 5G over and over again, and I would want to say his vision for a digitized Nigeria. He has shared it. He has told us that 5G will bring us several advancements. I've read online from different other sources that 5G will bring us self-driving cars in the future. 5G will bring us remote surgery in our hospitals. That 5G will give us advanced e-learning systems. Now, the question I ask myself, I will give you some example of how 5G will actually can transform us. But the question I ask is, that self-driving cars that they are telling us, it's not possible. It's not feasible in the short term.
In Nigeria?
Of the long term. Yes.
In Nigeria?
Yes, in Nigeria.
Never mind the fact that it does exist elsewhere.
Yes, that's the fourth industrial revolution. It exists. Self-driving cars is a reality. It's not new. It's a reality of the fourth industrial revolution.
Exactly.
Now, in a fourth industrial Nigeria, we can't easily put self-driving cars on our kind of road network.
I don't even think it's a priority.
Now, that's one, sir. Two, they've also said remote surgical operation to transform our healthcare. Where I ask myself, how do you transform the health sector that does not even have, the public health sector, digitized medical records? Everything is still files and papers stacked on cupboards.
Well, mostly. I'm sure there will be some, maybe even private institutions.
That's why I say public. That's why I say public.
Okay, public. I was thinking of public health.
Yeah, yes. Yeah. So now, because that's where the masses go. Yes, some of us can afford the private medical practice. But the truth is, the large number of the populace, which we call the common men in Nigeria, they don't go to these private hospitals. They go to these public infrastructures.
Indeed. And it is in the public places
and it's in the public spaces where we don't even have digitized records. Now, you're also talking about advanced e-learning systems. I once heard the VC of Unilorin, a fantastic professor, by the way, said 5G will revolutionize e-learning. And I kept asking myself, where in these same university systems where we don't even have the infrastructure to teach big data systems. Ask a typical computer science graduate. I've hired a lot of them. We don't even have the infrastructure to teach big data systems. Talk less of how we transform e-learning. Now, it's tiring when they use technology like it's a medal to do marketing. It's tiring.
That we have it.
Yeah.
Nigeria also has 5G.
It's as if once you've taken the technology, they assume the technology itself is the solution.
And that's the warning you are sounding.
Yes, it's just a tool.
It's just a tool. It's part of it. And that's why you're saying the application of it is tremendously important.
Exactly.
There must be an appropriate application. Now, in this regard, I imagine there are different segments of this whole IG thing, even in Nigeria. Arguably, Lagos State, for example, sort of seems to be paying, attention to this. I understand that in Lagos State, for example, they have a whole computerization or digital whatever. You would know about that more than I do. They
have a digital framework, yeah.
The Lagos State, for instance, has a digital framework, which probably not all states have at the moment.
Yes.
It's not their priority. But then Lagos being what it is, it builds itself as the center of excellence, and everybody knows what Lagos is. So it's probably to be expected that Lagos would be a forerunner in this kind of thing.
Absolutely. Yeah. And we also have a visionary in Lagos. Governor Sanwo-Olu loves tech. He understands that technology is a process optimizer and a results giver. So some way, somehow, is one of his theme. I'm sure you know the Lagos theme is technology. He is serious about technology, and he is not just the kind of person that talks about it. He implements it. You understand? He's been able to use technology in some environments of its governance to optimize processes. I've worked with the government directly.
Okay. For instance, I don't know if it is part of it. In Lagos, just talking about transportation again, the traffic lights, they've sort of digitized the entire system. You infringe, you don't need any yellow fever running after you. Government has eyes on you. It can be proved to you. All of that probably is an indication of moving into a technological age, even more so than before.
Yes.
Now they know when your documentation has expired. Now, right now, they're using it for governance. But the point you've been making from the beginning is that is one. But there's so many others that we might not yet be ready for. Now, so the question I want to ask is that what's your estimation as to, given the seriousness of purpose that I imagine the NCC has, states like Lagos, for example, you just said you've worked with them yourself. What's your estimation of when we can come to some sort of a critical mass, so to speak, so that we can begin to be benefiting from this? We're talking about 5 years? Are we talking about 10 years? Are we talking about 20 years? Is it 25 years? Because we've got to start from somewhere.
I think, I'm not even thinking, I'm emphatically certain that we can start benefiting from now.
Okay.
We don't have to wait for 5 years or 10 years, now. But my own argument is simple. It's one thing to adopt technology. It's one thing to use that tool that you've adopted to solve a major problem. There are problems facing people in this country that is more than data. And these are problems technology can also solve. Let's use that traffic example you gave.
Okay.
A smart traffic system that's probably powered by RFID and cameras solves a major problem. But they will also introduce a bit of disadvantages and risk, because if they hack into those cameras, I can track anybody's movement and go and attack someone if I want to attack someone.
I hear you.
It comes with risk. But if they are properly implemented securely, with the right camera set, with the right RFID scanners, and they get all these things done for us in Lagos, we are going to solve, we're not only going to solve the problem of traffic congestion, we're going to solve the problem of insecurity. Because for someone who wants to commit a crime, like you need to move. Mobility is essential for your crime. If we get our traffic system correctly, we will reduce the risk of crimes significantly. significantly.
So going beyond just a free flow of traffic,
exactly.
there are other add-on benefits.
Exactly. Let me tell you why I give kudos to President Buhari on a level. I don't want people to think I'm a promoter or an advocate of the failures of the government, because they have their weaknesses. But the digital economic policy that was made on 5 cardinal principles. They want to solve unemployment. They want to improve on operational efficiency, operational transparency. They want to enhance the fight against insecurity. And they want to build an e-governance and e-security system. Now, the way that policy was drafted, they understood that we want to adopt technology to solve key problems. We want to adopt technology to solve major problems, but what are the socio-economic programs that are ongoing that will connect those technologies you've adopted to those problems you've identified? Now, that's what we can see.
Okay, at the moment.
At the moment.
And that is, it's important, it's crucial.
Exactly.
It's necessary.
At this junction, it's important, it's essential at this junction.
Because an example of what you're saying, for example, perhaps, is you talked about the efficiency for the very basic use of, IT for traffic management.
Yes, smart traffic systems.
Smart traffic system. I was saying that they know when your documentation has expired.
Yes.
But there still is something of a weakness in the sense that should you go and park your car at home for 6 to 9 months, the system will still be chasing you about. You didn't drive it for 1 meter, but the system will be chasing you. And I would have thought it's a proper defense to say that you can't say I'm driving with expired particulars. The car has been in my house, but the system hasn't gotten that smart to know that actually to be able to take care of that kind of thing. It might not be an important point, but it does show up aspects of this thing where the human being, the human mind, can do some things that machines are yet to catch up with. But I have no qualms that machines are going to catch up.
Absolutely. But I know people are always scared that machine will take away people's work.
Mazi Okorafo, good morning to you, sir, and thank you for holding on. Go right ahead now, please. After Mazi had held on all that while, I'm so sorry, Mazi. See if you can get back in. If you had any question that you wanted to ask, or if you had, something you wanted to add to the conversation that we're having, which is all about artificial intelligence. But Stephen's been telling us that that's just a component of it. That it's a much wider field. And you've also been at pains to say to us that having 5G is not the same as deploying it, effectively, deploying it at all. So you want the two to go together, lest, as you were saying, having 5G is seen as some sort of a medal. It's not that at all.
It's not a medal. It's not a medal. Basically, the summary of what I've been saying is pretty simple. There's not one. We should adopt technology. It's a fact. We can't do without it.
We can't escape it.
We can't escape it. Or else we will remain on the level we are on the global economic scale, and the world will leave us behind. So we need to adopt it. I'm sure you see we brought in telecommunications, and it worked for us.
Indeed.
Now, what I'm saying is, this infrastructure they are adopting, they are not the solution in themselves. They are tools that will eventually solve problems when they are applied properly.
So the infrastructure for 5G, for example, is one. But as you were saying, the problems that they will be solving also need to be set up for that purpose.
Exactly. They need to work per pursuit. You don't adopt technology because you just want to be able to add it as part of your star. That yes, I was the one that brought in 5G.
I get you.
That's not what we need. We need people.
Do you have any, since you've emphasized this point, do you have any suspicion that that might indeed be the way we are unwittingly going?
It's not even a suspicion. That's what I feel we are. That's what I think we are doing. I feel they are using technology as a medal.
That we did this in our time.
And it's challenging if that is the idea. It's challenging.
But why do you have that idea that they're not going to go the other half? Haven't come out this much.
Thank you very much. Now, there's no technology that doesn't have disadvantages. Every technology comes with a bit of challenge. Every single technology you adopt. and they will introduce new kind of systems. Now, the question we should ask ourselves is, what, I'm giving you a logical thought process now. What kind of opportunities and problems will be introduced by the technology we are adopting?
Okay.
Because they introduce opportunities and problems. There's no way we can't escape it.
I mean, it's just what you said just reminded me of SWOT.
SWOT analysis, exactly.
You know.
Strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats.
Yes.
Exactly. So it's going to introduce, let me give you a typical example of what the challenges they had with Twitter. Twitter is a product of 4G. Twitter is a product of 4G.
Okay.
Broadband penetration is the reason why we have all these platforms. That's why I use the word platformization. You understand? Now, they couldn't stand the kind of problem, if I can use that word, the kind of challenges that Twitter was, and they resulted in a ban. Okay. Which was not correct then. But that problem was a new kind of problem they were not familiar with.
Okay.
Now, several problems.
Do you think, sorry, but since you went there, do you think anything's going to change since Elon Musk brought over Twitter, and he's at the cutting edge? He's at the cutting edge. He's way up there with his cars, with his computers. As you know, he has an integrated system that he wants to bring around. He wants to put his own cell phones. I mean, the guy wants to go to outer space, for instance.
I'm happy you mentioned Elon. Elon is someone I admire. I admire his risk appetite. He has a very strong, very high bandwidth to accommodate risk. That's Elon for you. Now, Elon Musk buying Twitter is the future. You see, I'm not the owner of Twitter yet, but this industry is my industry. You understand? Now, my thought about Elon taking over Twitter is because there are so many things that will change. For example, Elon has hinted that he doesn't believe in outright banning people from Twitter, that he should give them like a suspension. Okay. He's telling you things he will change. Elon has said Twitter is the free voice of the future. And for someone who have seen what he did with SpaceX, yes, his space shuttle, yes, and he was able to bring it back to Earth. That's right. What he did with Tesla, the self-driving, the automation on Tesla. Exactly. I can go on and on.
How about the tunnel? How about the tunnel the man is building?
Is the Hyperloop.
Yes.
Hyperloop. So I can tell you, he's a visionary. So Elon and Twitter is the way forward.
Let me see what Mr. Ose, calling in from Benin in Edo State, wants to add to the conversation. Yes. Good morning, sir.
Hello. Okay.
Hello.
Good morning, sir.
Thank you for calling in.
Yes, I want to just this 5G something is a very good thing that will be very good for Nigeria. Sure. But I want to say two things. I want to just say two things. Don't you think that we already have, like now for automated machines, we already have employment problems in Nigeria already. It's very difficult to get work and all that. Then we'll now bring in robots to come and be working for us. Don't you think the country will be in mess? Number two, to self-driving cars. The average Nigerian man likes to be behind the steering wheel. He likes to be behind the steering wheel. Uncle Yeri, yeah. Imagine yourself in Lagos there. Yeah, you will not see a car without a driver. Will you
I'll probably freak out. Yeah,
will
you're
you
right.
Like to be in such a car?
You're right. That's the question.
What I have to say.
Thank you very much. Yeah, this is where technology is taking us. I said that I saw this video live. It wasn't a promotional video. It was a fair, a client, a fair, who was saying, I can't believe this. This has never happened to me before. I'm in a driverless car. He was even joking that if anybody tries to stop me for speed, he said, don't talk to me. You know, there's no driver. Well, but he's made some very significant points that Nigeria here. And this is where I don't know how far along we're getting. I tried to find out from you if Lagos State was any farther down the path than other people.
Lagos State is way ahead of most states. Okay. With technology adoption.
But
way ahead. Yeah.
Maybe address OCS.
Let me talk about we're still going to be connecting the dots. Now, he made a very valid point. He said, in a country where we don't even have sufficient employment. Now you want to bring automated machinery to take over jobs.
Where one machine will do the job of 200 people.
That's what I'm saying. The government themselves. See, let me make a point. If you bring a machine to do the job, people see robotics. It's all under robotics engineering. People see robotics engineering as a job taker. It rips people of the opportunity to work. But why I say it's also creating new kind of jobs. Because those robots you see that they brought your machinery to you were assembled. There are people that actually... Now, what I want to see this country do, the leadership of this country do, is put in socio-economic programs that teach people on the future of work. Whether we like it or not, machines will take our work. Whether we like it or not, self-driving cars will continue to grow overseas until God says it's Nigeria's turn to have self-driving cars. You cannot contend or fight the future. You can only cooperate with it. So the issue of taking jobs is all about putting systems in place where people can learn skills and acquire new skills, competence that are relevant for the future. So we don't remain backward.
Okay, I'm going to come back to that point. Mazi Okorafor, thank you very much for calling back. Go ahead, please.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, sir. Good morning, our brothers today. You see, when we talk about this robot and machine, the machine must take back. The robot doesn't pay because we will open all those things like robot during COVID-19. But the question is this. We are in a state of, that is what we meant, will I say confusion or commotion? Because if you look at the employment rate of Nigeria, inflationary rate of Nigeria, it's getting to that. Last week, I was looking at the show that America, that was plus 6%. Then France, after the election, was plus 11%. Now you come back to Nigeria. All these things you are talking about, when you look at this network providers, you see they make a lot of profit. Trillion every year. Billion every year. But who are the people suffering this things? It's the people that are patronizing this thing. So I will be certain that the network providers, somebody will be on an important call before he talks about Robinson, the network problem. And before you go back to your business partner to bring back the look, you will not agree that it was a network. What we need is whether G10 or G5 or G20 or anything. What we need is a 247 services. Today, if you check to me, if I make a call to Europe, the charges are very, very small. But if you make a call within African countries, it's always high. Why is it so presently? So I'm asking this question because I started looking at it, and even there are some programs you do in, like, let's say, for example, like State Talk Africa. When you call, they will call you back. You don't pay kobo. The services provided is free of charge. But in African content, what you the caller, you are the person suffering the cost and the agent. But the question is, why is it that network providers, they make a lot of profit every year, but they will come back charging upon charges? You get a lot of text messages that are irrelevant and even subject you to what you did not plan for. Why is it so?
Okay. Thank you very much, Mazi. Thank you very much, Mazi Okorafor. He's getting into the nitty-gritty of it, and it's one aspect of it, but an important one, because that's the most familiar facet of this whole revolution that most of us know.
Yes, his concerns are relevant, because even myself, I have, because of the hybrid model of work, we have teams that work from home. I have teams that my team, they tell me on phone, sir, I don't have 1G where I am talking about 5G. Like, is that bad? Now, as someone who have grown an enterprise for years, I also want us to be a little bit considerate with, I told you technology introduces challenges, because I've had situations where I personally, with my team, implemented technology solutions in Soft City, and we ended up with minor hiccups. Now, some of these things they are experiencing, they should also understand that this telco, they're also a business. They invest money to make money back. Now, recently, they've been complaining about the fact that they've been, the whole diesel wahala, that they've been running outside what they will consider sufficient for them to operational cost.
Okay.
Now,
and this is a problem that's almost peculiar to our situation here in Nigeria.
Exactly.
That the guy in Switzerland does not have.
Exactly.
You know, for example, just for example.
That's why we say the fourth industrial revolution, the elements of the fourth industrial revolution, the manifestation, the characteristics of the fourth industrial revolution is what we are calling the fourth industrial Nigeria. That characteristics, because everything about us will be unique. You see the problems he just expressed now. They are very unique problems. That's what I'm saying. Technology comes with opportunities and problems. There's no technology, I can bet you, there's no single technology in the world, you can quote me, that does not come with opportunities and problems. They come together.
1 second, please. Good morning, Mr. George.
Good morning, Uncle Yori, and I greet your guest.
Stephen Oniya.
Yes. Uncle Yori, you seem to be taking us ahead of our time in your discussion this morning. I don't know whether your guest is bearing in mind our level of education in this country. He said something that caught my attention, that introduction of IT is based on our level of infrastructural development. So I've had series of experiences with Bolt and Uber drivers, and you will notice that some of them do not know how to apply the app and the map for operations because of their level of education. That goes to corroborate what the guest is saying, that before we apply any technology, it has to be based on the level of our infrastructural development. This one we are discussing now, do we bear in mind how high or the level of our education in the country? Take for instance, when we are talking about voting, INEC is talking about electronic transmission. And some areas are saying we don't have the technology that can get this operation into effect. I would like your guest to address such things, the gaps that exist in such technological know-how, and how we can meet up before we start asking for 5G, 7G,
or driverless cars.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, thank you very much, Mr. George. I'm sure Steve will want to get into that.
Thank you very much, Mr. George. He's actually saying what we've been discussing. You see, he has identified a major social economic deficiency, which is the people component of computing. Now, we've been praising infrastructure and private. He is saying, what use is technology when the people cannot even use them? He's giving an example of Uber and Bolt driver, where they cannot even use the app. And
he also brought in our educational development,
so
generally.
I'm of the opinion. You see, the people component of computing has been neglected in this country for too long.
Okay.
There is no use. We need to have this educational system from our tertiary institution. And I was giving an example. When I started, I said platformization and labor force engineering. You need to educate the people, because there are some platforms that we've benefited now that is as a result of broadband. We have Uber, we have Bolt, we have marketplaces everywhere. Now, these platforms, that's what I'm saying, platformization are the reason why some problems have been solved. But when these opportunities will introduce themselves, will present themselves, that's the opportunity we will get from this fourth industrial era. Are we prepared as a people to take advantage of those technologies and be able to use it well? We need to fix.
And that's where you have your doubts.
Yeah, that's
where you have your doubts.
Exactly where my
so
problem
it goes back to what Mr. George was saying.
Exactly.
How prepared are we if you bring it down to the people level?
The people component, they need to be orientated. They need to be educated. Well, they need so many things that need to be done.
As you no doubt have heard, in universities, in Nigerian universities where they take computer science, we have heard complaints from those people that you won't believe what some schools have by way of a computer science department and what they're able to do. But let me not go into that, because Joseph, I believe, in Abuja. Yes, it's Joseph. Good morning to you, Mr. Joseph. Joseph in Abuja. Did I get you right?
Yeah, Mr. Joseph.
Yes, go ahead, sir.
Okay. Monkey, good morning.
Good morning to you.
I greet Mr. Stephen very well.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. I want to thank you very much, Uncle Yeri and Mr. Stephen. I am happy with what he has been explaining here. But my question is, in all this, can we get 5G or 6G that can scan our leaders? Because the problem we have in Nigeria is
that can what? I didn't hear that.
Technology that can scan these our leaders.
That can scan our leaders. Is that what you said?
Scan them who will tell us live tomorrow.
Okay.
And who I said,
oh dear. Oh dear.
Is there any 5G or 10G that can scan these our presidential aspirants to tell us who will lie to us tomorrow when we give them the vote? Give them the vote.
Okay, Joseph. Okay, Joseph. Thank you very much for calling in. Why not? Because why would Joseph not say? Because what is it the doctors do? MRI or whatever, where they put a whole body, they put you into a tube, and you get all sorts of. He's saying that. You know, Mr. Joseph, thank you very much. We understand the point that you are making. But let's move on. Let's move on.
So let me just help Mr. Joseph a little.
Go there.
Now, there is no way you can scan a human being's intention.
He knows. Joseph himself knows.
Exactly.
He just decided to add a bit of levity to this heavy discussion. You know. Thank you, Joseph.
But your concerns are noted because what you feel is what we all feel.
Yeah. How sincere are the politicians with us?
Yes.
So he's saying that, look, wait a minute, guys, is it all this artificial intelligence? Can it do something for us there? Where all sorts of all manner of people are presenting themselves for high office?
Yes. If you look at the ideation phase of product development, we could come up with something called community policing, where you lie to us. All of us will rate you that is a lie. By the time 90% of Nigerians tag is a lie, it's a lie, it's a lie, it's a lie. But that of us tag that platform. You won't say that same thing again.
Okay.
We just need a verification system, but it's global. It's a global thing. Leaders are like that.
Indeed. Yeah. So as we're moving to to breast the tape now, what you've done this morning is to sort of sensitize us to the fact that 5G and advancements in technology, that whole component is one thing. How indeed we apply it for the benefit of our people is another, and perhaps a much more important one.
Yes.
And you seem to be saying that you are apprehensive that maybe enough is not being done in that direction. So you have a state-of-the-art, vessel, but with nowhere to go.
Exactly.
And I was saying that, look, I don't know why, I trust the NCC and all these experts like yourselves who are also in government. They also must be aware of all of these things. But it's good that they're hearing it, as it were, off the streets, so to speak. Although I'm not saying that you are off the streets. You know what I mean. You know what I mean. Yeah.
I want you to know I kind of trust NCC. Let's get that clear. NCC, they're like the NCC, NIDA too. I don't know if you know, National Information Technology Development Agency. These are entities that are saddled with responsibility of making sure we get results. Now, their portfolios are different. NCC is not the one that will help you implement or apply.
Okay.
They only guide your adoption.
Okay.
NIDA is regulatory. Industry. We also have Computer Professionals Regulation Council of Nigeria, which I'm also a member. It's also education, regulatory compliance. That's what. Now, the portfolios are different. But if you want to look at getting results, let me use an example that I think it was Mr. Okora that called. Now, insecurity is a key problem in this country. Is it NCC that will fix insecurity? No. It's another entity that will take that technology they've adopted and apply it to solve that problem. Where is the collaborative effort ongoing right now?
I guess that's the core question.
Where are they?
That's the core
question. It's not
question.
NCC that will fix insecurity.
Because we're not seeing that at the moment.
Exactly.
These are like research institutes or, that have to come up with the processes.
Exactly.
To take full
what they have adopted, how do we apply it in our own?
So there's a latency in these technologies that are coming in, but it's latent. Now to bring it into actuality is what we need, if I understand you properly, to begin to address our minds very, very seriously too.
Yes, exactly.
For all of this.
Exactly.
Well, I got to thank you, Stephen, for coming along and airing this subject matter. Getting us to understand what the aspects of it are. We spoke about the SWOT, the SWOT analysis. There will be opportunities. There will be threats. I think the threats, somebody mentioned it. Our jobs. Machine is going to do my job. Where does that leave me? but you've also explained aspects of that. I really enjoyed the conversation, apart from the fact that it was quite enlightening. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Stephen Oniya, CEO, Soft City Group. And when I say your name, I like to put the end to it. Amoniya Omobi. Amoniya Omobi. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
The 5G controversies, if that is what people want to call it, sort of explaining it. Thanks once again. So that's our program. We're going to have to leave it there for now. Of course, we'll keep an eye on all these things, and we'll talk about them when the time is ripe. Please join us tomorrow for a fresh edition. I am Yori Folarin. Bye-bye for now.